This is the boys on MMA. We're talking UFC 301. We got Ryder, and we got Jordan on my left here.
All right.
This is episode 2. So we're going to start off the first fight of the night. We're making our predictions, and we're making our
assessments
and possible bets we'd like to make. So yeah, we're going to get started here.
Totally start the night off with John Silva. Okay, we got Silva versus William Gomez. Now, William is fighting out of France, Paris. He's fighting out of a small camp in Paris. He's going to have a 5-inch height advantage.
Yes.
Over Silva, okay?
Featherweights.
These are 145-pound people with a 5-inch height and a 4-inch reach advantage on William Gomez. Now, I couldn't find anything on Tapology for William Gomez. Now that leads me to believe he's in a very local circuit and
European circuit.
They can't even track his fights. They can't even tell me what. So he's 13-2 fighting Silva, who's 12-2. Now these are strong records.
This could be a good fight, though.
Strong records.
Strong records, yeah.
Now, Ryder, I'd like to ask: is Jean Silva Brazilian?
Yeah, that's right. He is Brazilian.
And maybe we should cover that this event is in Brazil, we determined.
That's right.
Rio de Janeiro.
That is an important thing to get into.
That's right.
Before we discuss the fights.
That's right.
100%.
You know,
totally. Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
They haven't been to Rio in a long time.
Well,
the last Rio card that I could remember
it was like Lee versus Oliveira.
That's
and
right.
Like before COVID was
my
actually
gosh.
even
Really?
start.
Has it been that long?
I think they might have went since then, but it was like that was the last one.
Last
I
one
remember.
you remember.
Glover fought
Jamal.
Was it Jamal in Rio? Yes,
so.
it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jamal
never
got,
mind.
and that was only
I think
about
it was Rio.
two years ago, though. I bet.
Yeah, and
Coming up on 2 years ago, haven't been to Brazil.
Pereira fought on that card too.
He did.
Yeah,
Against who?
Pereira fought.
Some underling.
Yeah, he
One
won
of his
that.
first 3 fights.
I
was
think he
kind of
won
a
that
lesser
fight.
name.
I think he fought on that card. But yeah, so
Okay,
we got it.
So Jean Silva.
Well, no, that's great. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It's
I-
going to be some live energy. They have a bunch of Brazilian fighters. Most of the fights have one Brazilian fighter, and that brings a lot of energy. That brings a lot of, if you have a UFC New York, UFC Philadelphia, they always have a few
Local fighters.
Eastern fighters from New York, from America, to build up the crowd, to get the people's attention, right?
Absolutely. Iconic moments have happened in Rio. Iconic UFC moments have happened in Rio.
Definitely.
Jose Aldo winning,
I can remember
or defending his title, I think.
For
Where he
sure.
ran into the crowd and everyone embraced him.
That's
that was
right.
crazy.
That was in Rio, and you know what? Nowadays they'll fine you for jumping out of the octagon.
That's so dumb.
Meanwhile, Jose's diving into a crowd of 100 people, all of his fucking friends, and that's amazing.
283 was in Rio.
283 was in
January
Rio.
21st, 2023.
And that was Glover, hey?
Oh, okay,
Glover
okay.
Teixeira. Nice.
280. So that's very recent. What was the what was the main event for that? 283. No, that's all right.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah.
The main. Well, there's a few. Light heavyweight. Jamahal Hill.
Yeah, Jamal Hill fought
Glover.
Glover Teixeira.
So that was what we just recalled, and that's
Okay.
good. That's good. What was the co-main on that? Does it say?
Brandon Moreno and
And Pantoja.
Davison Figueiredo.
Figueiredo is Brazilian. Wow.
Yeah.
So
That was, I think, Figueiredo lost that one. Am
that's
I right?
15 UFCs ago, and there's one UFC a month. So that was 1 year ago at least.
Yeah, a
So
little
once
over.
a year they might go to Brazil, and yeah, they're coming back with an okay card. It's not incredible, but it is decent. There's a couple of solid names on here for sure.
Unfortunately, coming off 300, it's
Totally
wasn't going to
underwhelming.
be as an iconic card, but still some good fights on there, some sneaky fights.
Some sneaky fights.
And first fight of the night's not even bad.
No
doubt. Pretty good fight.
They could have done like Figueiredo Garbrandt on this card.
100%.
Yeah,
but they
they
pushed
could've.
that, right? You're gonna have to pull hard on that if you're gonna want it. So, I mean, John Silva, he could very well take it. These guys both are obviously good, but I think William Gomez, with the reach and the height, he should be able to take this at 145.
And who's the favorite?
William Gomez.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
I'll
going
take-
underdog here. Brazilian fighter.
Yeah,
Yes.
Brazil.
starting the night.
by
This
decision.
guy's 4 inches
He's flown
taller.
in from France.
Yeah, you know who's 4 inches
That's a
taller
good
than
point.
everybody is Jalen freaking what's his name, Tarantula
Turner.
And what was his last fight? He just got
Moicano. He got
knocked
submitted.
out by Moicano.
So Jean Silva is actually a slight favorite over William Gomez.
Moicano could have been on this card.
He's a slight favorite. Oh, for sure. He should have been on this
Moicano should
card.
have been, yeah.
okay, well I've got Silva there then.
That's great.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Elvis Brenner. Okay, and he's a 3-1 dog versus Mick oral by. Okay, Mick is fighting out of. We already established it. It was Kyrgyzstan, right?
Yes.
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, he's Kyrgyzstanian. Now he's a 1.4 to 3 for Elvis Brenner. I didn't realize the odds were that big because Elvis Brenner has 3 UFC wins in 2023 against decent opponents. And Mick is essentially untested in the UFC. He's fought one guy in, I mentioned it earlier, it was Ursop Medic, who just got a sick KO win over Tim Means
Yes.
at Fight Night, whatever,
88 or something.
91,000.
It was in the 90s, I believe.
I think it's
So
91.
when did they started counting the UFC fight
Fight
night
nights.
numbers like after COVID, right?
Yeah,
Like when
I
they-
don't
the
know.
first-
It was before COVID.
No, because it was like at the Apex when they started doing them at the Apex.
No, I don't think so. I think
there's
I think
more track
Steven,
record
Stephen
before that.
Was
Thompson
it?
and Darren Till. I remember
Okay.
watching them, and they were a fight night
Was-
number. I think
Wasn't that like ESPN fight night? And then
that was before ESPN
I think they're
too.
connected.
Yeah.
I think they're connected.
The first ESPN card was
Maybe.
the first ESPN card was Dillashaw Cejudo for the 125.
Aaron, can you type in
belt.
first fight night?
Yeah.
I want to know who was the first fight night because at one point
Fight
it was only
Night
pay-per-view
Vegas.
for 10 years, right?
Well,
And then
yeah.
they had a fight night, and it was like based on their network, right?
Could
They
probably-
signed on to Fox,
I'm gonna
they
make-
signed on to Spike. They had a bunch of deals over the years, and at one
that's
point,
what I'm saying is they've had different fight nights for each like
Generation
these-
of the UFC.
These Vegas fight nights, I think they're just the Apex.
You
ones,
might be
maybe.
right
Maybe.
because 90 events is only one every 2 weeks for a year. Or no,
I don't
that's
know, what's
2
it-
years
It's
worth.
UFC fight night.
Yeah,
Yes.
what was the first fight night? Does
first,
it say anything
First
on
UFC
that?
fight night. Anyways, the fight after this.
Mick Elvis Brenner. Mick has extremely good grappling. He's like Kyrgyzstanian. What's his name there? Kyrgyzstanian Shavkat.
Well, he's Kazakhstan, but yeah,
Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstanian.
yeah.
He looks like a badass. He looks like a guy who would just show up and beat the shit out of 5 guys.
Yeah.
He's my hero.
I've got Brenner
like
here.
that.
You
Yeah.
said Brenner. He's got.
He's a 3-1 dog essentially.
and he
Brenner.
has 3 fights in the UFC. That's not
in
bad.
2023.
That's pretty good.
He has
Oh,
fights
that's
before
dope,
that too,
yeah.
and
Is
wins.
he older or is he younger? Do we know?
They're the same age. They're both 20 and 29. They're both young men.
Okay. Well, I don't mind.
I don't mind Brenner
But you,
again.
you have to think that he's a favorite for a reason. He's a 3-1
His grappling
favorite
might
for a
negate
reason.
the striking.
Yeah.
Mick could easily take him down, I think, and that's going to be a problem. I'm leaning Mick like I said. He's like one of those people. He's like a force at. I think it's lightweight.
Yeah, it was lightweight belt.
Lightweight.
Lightweight.
So I'm gonna go with Mick. You know, first I'm always messing up my parlays personally, but if you can go 2 fights in a row and just cash in on 2 fights, if you're trying to string together a parlay, I just went 5 for 6 every other event for a year straight.
Now-
But if you go 2 fights like Jean Silva, who's the favorite, into Mick who's the favorite, put $20 on that and turn it into $40.
Put $100 on.
Put $100 on that and turn it to $2.
Ryder-
Put $1
okay.
and turn it into $2.
Ryder is
however
just saying
you like.
that because that's what I've been doing.
That's
and
the
I've
winning
been winning.
recipe.
Yeah.
And Ryder's been betting silly little bets on 5 fighters, and he lost another
You're
$60
right.
today or
That's
something.
right. That's right.
And I'm up all time.
Uh-huh.
I make
Uh-huh.
2.
Don't
2
get me
fights
started
max,
on that. Don't get me started.
And
on
that's
that.
it. And you
You
know,
couldn't be more right.
It's as easy as that. I won tonight again.
He won tonight.
Good times.
He's a smart
Easy.
better.
Tonight
first
was
UFC
Nicolau versus
sorry, Ryder.
Perez fight night 91. Go ahead,
Aaron,
Aaron.
what do you say
This
first?
is really late, but the first fight night was April 6, 2005.
Dude, they've been doing it a long time, dude.
I had to
A long
ask Chat
time.
GPT.
Yeah.
So April 6th, thanks ChatGPT.
2005.
2005 was the first fight night. That's when they said,
Oh,
this
20 years
isn't going
ago.
to be pay-per-view quality. We're going to make a decent fight night out of this, though.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's good marketing.
Totally. Yeah.
It's when the UFC became more soiled down and each event
Yeah.
didn't feel as meaningful anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
But there is
I wasn't there
there's
for it,
more
but I believe
content
you.
to consume now, so in a way it is better, and all the fights are good. So
Yeah, my
it is
dad.
what it is.
Our dads used to watch it, and they just criticized after a while. There's a fight every weekend now.
As if that's like a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean we watch fights almost every weekend.
Totally.
Pretty much. I love
Are
it.
you complaining?
Yeah, they just
There's
for some
hockey
reason,
every other day.
They thought like a UFC pay-per-view card could be like, it's a special event. It should only happen once in a while.
It's like sacred.
It's like quality over quantity.
Well, the pay-per-view still is.
It is,
for
yeah.
the most part. For the most part.
Maybe they haven't.
I mean,
been-
this next pay-per-view, let's be real, 301.
Not-
If you're buying UFC 301.
Hey, power to you if you're buying it. Good on you. You're a true UFC fan if you're purchasing this pay-per-view,
But it's
because
like-
it is okay.
Yeah. Well, like I said, coming off of 300.
You're not
It's-
going to be
it's
thrilled.
not
off
gonna
of
be the
300.
strong card.
They pulled a bunch of strings to make 300 incredible. They
And
probably
we-
pulled Cody off or Figgy off this card.
Yeah.
They probably pulled Charles off this card.
Yeah.
Of course they wanted Charles on UFC Brazil 301.
They could have made.
Alex Pereira wanted to be on this card, but he broke his toes apparently.
Oh, that would have been sick.
Imagine that turnaround. One UFC
That
pay-per-view
would've
later,
been
the
sick.
champ he would have gone down as
Like
one of the better
greatest.
fighters of all
Who would
time.
who would he have fought?
That's a great question.
What was- he
well,
was
he was
slated-
calling for like a basic heavyweight. He was calling for like a Derek Lewis.
Oh,
No.
He was calling for
Was
like
he?
a Tai Tuivasa. He was calling for just a heavyweight bout, non-title bout.
Really?
Yep.
Just any bout?
Yep.
That's a fighter, man.
There was nobody at middle or at light heavyweight for him to fight, so he just called for a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But
And
his
the
toes
thing
were
about
broken.
Pereira is like he gets knocked out, and it's like it's not that big of a deal for him.
He's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
He's just like a Brazilian hitman. He just wakes up. He's like, oh, okay, like shit, I get knocked out, man.
Time to go to war.
So
It's no big deal, right?
Yeah. He's been there. That's why I think like Dustin Poirier been knocked out a few times now. He just comes
he's
back
okay. It
and
almost makes
keeps
you
winning.
better and tougher and more mentally strong.
He's on his like 9th title shot.
Totally. More like 4th, but that's a lot too. Moving on. Okay, I'm gonna go with Mick Beck or Oralby.
Yeah.
The grappling should negate the striking, and he's a high level grappler, and he is a big 155er at like 6'1" or something. Frigged like. We're gonna move on to Jack Shore.
Jack
versus Joe Anderson Brito. Joe Anderson Brito is the Brazilian fighter. He's 5-6 in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's 16-3 overall. Both these fighters are also the same age. They're both young, early 30s.
Yes.
Jack Shore is 17-1. Okay,
What?
he's 7-8 in the UFC. His only loss is in the UFC.
7.
Now, to who?
You mean 7-1 in the UFC?
He's 7-1 in the UFC,
That's crazy.
and he's 17-1 overall. Jack Shore.
And that's a great record.
Now, Jack Shore, I'm looking here for the betting favorite. I believe it's Jack Shore by a good margin. Oh, no, Jack Shore's the underdog. And he's fighting out of the UK, Jack Shore. He's fighting Joe Anderson Brito.
He's the underdog, hey?
2.5 to 1.5 is Jack Shore. Jack Shore's 2.5. And
Really?
I didn't know that. 17-1. He's 7-8 in the UFC. Again, you got to fly from the UK to Brazil to fight in a purely Portuguese crowd. It's not an easy week.
No.
It's not, and especially if you're going over there you're not going over there for too long, because these lower level fighters, they don't have financial aid to take them over to Brazil.
Yeah.
Have a week in Brazil to
well, I
train.
think
To
that
prepare.
they get a hotel,
Little bit of
a
financial
UFC
aid.
I think
hotel.
they're allowed to bring a couple coaches out.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sometimes
1 or 2.
I don't think all of them are. I don't think like you got one person in your corner. I think that's who they pay for.
That's a big trip, yeah.
They don't pay for your whole team to fly out. They don't pay for your whole family to fly out until you're in the spotlight.
I could totally get why some fighters would want to fight like close to their house and in their own
kidding
country
me?
and whatever.
Of course, and then all your people can get decent prices on the tickets.
totally.
And they can show out for you, and that's why you see these fight nights. You hear people screaming, and it's like Buddy's wife.
Yeah.
It's like his child.
Yeah. His kid's there.
Couldn't be more happy.
Yeah.
But Jack Shore, I actually think Jack Shore could win this.
Yeah.
He's got 7 fights. He's got 8 fights in the UFC.
And who's his opponent?
Joe Anderson Brito.
He
Don't
He's
know
got
a lot
6
about Joe
fights in the UFC as well.
and he's what, 5 and 6?
5 and 6. Both the same age. They have great records.
5 and 6 though. That's tough.
Joe Anderson has 3 losses. I just chalk it up to,
Whatever,
you know what? It could easily go 3 Brazilian fighters in a row right here. You know, we're looking at Elvis Brenner, who is Brazilian. We're looking at Jean Silva. We're looking at Joe Anderson.
What are the odds on all the Brazilian fighters to win?
That's a great
That'd be a
bet.
crazy
Well, what if
bet.
there's Brazilian on Brazilian action? You
Great.
know?
I don't think
Oh,
they have
yeah.
one fight Brazilian on
Brazilian on
Brazilian.
Brazilian?
Nope, I don't think so. So we got Elvis Brenner is Brazilian, and he's a 3-1 dog. Okay. We got Jean Silva. So if you went the first 3 Brazilian fighters, 8-1 right out of the gate. Now,
That's actually not that good though.
is Brenner gonna win? I think he's gonna lose to Mick Beck. That's the top 3 fights anyway.
All right, next fight. I think I'm going with Jack Shore on that one.
There's a few fights in between that, and we don't want to disrespect any of the professional athletes involved in the UFC or any MMA organization. But if we overlooked
Any MMA organization, you don't want to
Anybody.
disrespect
I
anybody?
don't. No, I think if you're a pro MMA fighter, respect. I got no
Absolutely.
disrespect to you. Whether your style isn't my favorite or not, whether you're this or that.
What about that little one that like
you're a
Luke
professional.
Rockhold just knocked that guy out and they
That
just
was
that's
karate
Joe.
combat,
That's
man.
Joe
That's
Schilling,
karate
dude.
why does
combat.
it have like the slanted ring?
It's for like jumping attacks, and it's to
Really?
prevent
Dude.
grappling.
Wow, that's
Because
pretty cool.
if
actually,
you grapple, you fall to the ground, and then it's in a
it's
dominant
also like
position.
karate. Matt Bavis did karate.
And you knocked Matt Bavis out in grade 10.
Not really.
Cold.
But
He didn't stand a chance in reality. I can't believe the matchmakers on that one.
I actually wouldn't mind start watching Karate Combat.
I'll tell you one thing. They're
Should
paying
watch
one
next
guy $200,000 to be their commentator, so it's like they can't be doing that poorly.
No.
Right?
sorry. So okay, yeah.
It's totally fine. No, that's good. That's good. The main event starts with Paul Craig versus
Paul
Chayo
Craig.
Barallo. Okay? Chayo Barallo is up and
Craig.
coming.
Paul Craig sounds like a porn star name. that's what we're all thinking here. So
Yeah, well, let me tell you.
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig is a vet with a granite chin and a heart of gold. Okay, he doesn't have a granite chin.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty
he's
weak
got,
chin.
he's got insane
He is a
jiu-jitsu.
British
Well,
shale.
His jiu-jitsu is great. However, Brendan Allen submitted him about 9 months ago.
Yeah, but jiu-jitsu guys get submitted. Like, it happens.
Well, he's not fighting a slouch in Chayo Barallo, who is a black belt.
But
in
let's not forget,
Brazilian
Paul Craig
jiu-jitsu.
submitted Jamal Hill.
I think Paul Craig, he's like a 50-50 fighter. He wins one and loses one. I think he just lost. So I've got Paul Craig here to beat some like
Brazilian guy.
yeah, totally.
I want Paul Craig to win.
I do too. I like Paul Craig
I
more.
like Paul Craig.
He stands for good stuff, and the way.
That's Paul Craig. There.
You know what?
Joe, could
you know
you-
who kind of looks like
Paul
Paul Craig
Craig.
is Jake here.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No.
Craig looked.
That's what like yeah. Malcolm was like saying that. I think Malcolm and Colin were calling you Paul Craig for a little bit there.
I don't want to be Paul Craig. I'm not a jiu-jitsu
And
guy.
then they were calling Ryder, Sean O'Malley mixed with Chase Hooper, Sean O'Malley
Yeah.
mix.
Chase O'Malley.
Aaron was I thought we had one for Aaron. Aaron kind
I haven't
of
heard this.
He's that new guy. Who's that new guy who just he just fought? He's got except it's like brown hair instead of red hair. He just fought and he knocked out.
Magomedov.
No. Oh yeah, he's kind of like the pirate.
Pirate.
If you had one eye, you'd be this guy.
If I was a UFC fighter, my nickname would be the human kangaroo. That's what I would want it to be.
Human kangaroo.
Because that's kind of how I
Wow.
fight.
That is how you fight. You extend your arms and like lean back like this. That's so funny.
Does anyone have that yet?
No.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
All right, carry on.
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig has 17
Let's
finishes.
go, Craig.
Paul Craig has 12 submissions. Paul Craig was subbed by Allen. Paul Craig is kind of weak on the feet. If you watch Paul Craig, he doesn't have good crisp combos. He doesn't have cold boxing.
But
Paul Craig
jiu-jitsu.
has good grappling and jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu.
Chayo Barallo, I think, is going to rock him on the feet.
Eee.
And then I think he's going to get a bit of a grappling exchange, and he's probably going to pound him out cold. Pound him out.
He's gonna pound him one.
He's
And
gonna-
if he doesn't, Paul Craig will probably have his way in the grappling department.
yeah.
Pound him out.
Pound him out. Let's not forget, Paul Craig did suffer that pound him out defeat to Johnny Walker.
Porn star
Johnny Walker. Porn star Paul Craig got pounded out by Johnny Walker. Johnny Dog Walker dog walked him.
Porn star Paul Craig pounding out Johnny Walker.
Something like that.
That's funny.
Oh my god.
So I'm leaning on Chao Baralo only because the odds tell me that. You know, is Chao gonna come out and smoke him?
So
No.
Jake,
He's got
you
3
were saying-
decisions. Chao Baralo has 3 decisions in the UFC and 1 submission. So he's not necessarily going to come out and beat up a top level guy like Paul Craig.
So Paul Craig knocked out Johnny Walker. is that
No,
what you're
Johnny Walker pounded out Paul
Oh,
Craig.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you got
sorry.
it backwards. Yeah.
But he also submitted Jamal Hill.
Now let
He's
me
the
tell
only
you
guy-
boys this: Chao Baralo 1.2, Paul Craig 4.4,
Underdog.
4.4 dog for
dude.
Craig.
Craig by submission.
Gotta bet Craig on that. There's no money on Baralo.
Craig by submission.
I don't mind Craig, and like I said, I admire him and I like him. So I hope he wins, and I look forward to his fight on Saturday night, May 4th.
What do we got
UFC
up next?
301.
301.
Michel Pereira versus Ior Poteria. Okay, Poteria is double booked to
Yes.
fight Magomed Sharipov. Sharaputin Magomedov is his name.
The pirate.
Sharaputin the Pirate Magomedov.
That's who you are.
He's got one eyeball. He's got nice beard.
Dude, he's got some
He's
of
got chill vibes.
the sickest striking I've ever seen.
Awesome fluid striking.
You
He's
saw
a
his last
ground
fight?
striker.
What's his name?
Sharaputin. Sharopop.
Good luck.
Sharop.
You remember his last fight, hey?
He's you're a spirit fighter, Aaron.
Yeah, that's great.
If you just stop shaving forever,
Yeah.
that might be you.
Huge beard, get rid of one of your eyes.
So
and you're that guy.
he's not fighting on this card. But Ior Poteria is fighting next weekend, and then he's fighting about 38 days later. He's fighting the Pirate.
You tell me in the comments. Does
Not a
this
good
happen
bet.
very often? Do people get double booked like this? I haven't seen it
No.
so far.
I think Ior Poteria suffers a loss to Michel Pereira, who is on an 8-fight win streak.
He just
8
fought.
fucking fight win streak is Michel Pereira
He just fought
at welterweight.
He fought that like Polish guy, right?
Yeah.
Oleg Gijek or
Yeah.
something. And he
that's
knocked
right.
him out.
That's
knocked him
right.
out.
He
Think
did.
so,
He
yeah.
did KO him. Yep. And it was a beatdown.
And he didn't take any damage.
no
did he?
damage. No damage. So he's turning around fast on this one.
Michel Pereira will just forever be known as the guy who like danced his way to the octagon and then gassed out during the fight.
But he's on an 8-fight win streak.
Yeah, he's
like,
sick.
You can't
Dude, he's sick.
I felt the same way about him. But then I looked into him today, and I'm like, geez, he's lost to Diego Sanchez like 3 years ago.
that was a
psychotic loss
that was
from.
a disqualification.
That's right.
Oh.
A downed opponent.
Knee to a down
Kneed him.
opponent. Diego took the dub.
And then he lost to Tristan Connolly 2 fights before that. So he's 10-12 in the UFC, Michel Pereira. So he's not like he's not a slouch. You know, you kind of think of him as the dancing guy who gasses out, but he's 10-12 in the UFC.
10-12 is a terrible record.
No, 10 wins, 2 losses.
You said
He's-
10-12.
Well, he's 10-4-12 is what
Oh,
I'm meaning to
10-4-12.
say. Thank you for correcting me.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for correcting me. He's
10.
10-4-12 fights.
I missed like half his fights where he loses them.
No, he didn't have 22 fights. He had 12 fights and he won 10 of them. So
Yeah.
he's a good fighter.
That's sick.
I bet Ior Poteria gets 2 hurt in this fight and then has to pull out against the Pirate. That's my bet.
Whoever the pirate fights,
He's going to pull out against the
he's gonna
Pirate.
pull out against the pirate.
Let's check Poteria's pull-out game against the Pirate after he fights Pereira.
What are those called?
That's an onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia.
No, it's not.
Alliteration.
Alliteration.
Yeah, alliteration.
So moving on, I'm gonna stick with Michel Pereira, who's on a sick 8-fight win streak.
Yeah, I'll go Michel Pereira.
Great energy, decent striking, which has improved over the years. And honestly, Michel, like you said, he gasses, but in reality, he's active and his cardio has improved.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm gonna go with Michel.
What are the odds?
Michel's a favorite. That dog needs to go walk again or something, which is she's in the room, but she's barking over nothing. I'm like, didn't you just go outside?
The dogs.
Michel Pereira, huge favorite. Poteria, 4-1. Yeah, go ahead, have a look. How's still going? Good. Let's move on to the third final fight of the night. Actually, it's not third. There's a couple more fights that we've skipped over, and that's okay.
So you
Okay.
skipped some of the main card fights?
Intentionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I knew some.
I thought all the main card fights were pretty decent.
I didn't skip anything that wasn't decent.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Anthony Smith, right?
Yeah, Anthony Smith is on there.
That's not that decent, though, is it?
I'm saying that I chose what I wanted to talk about here, and this is what I wanted to. No big deal.
No?
Like I
Yeah,
said, no
like it.
disrespect to
Anthony-
a pro athlete.
Can you pull up that fight, Anthony Smith's fight?
I've got it all right here.
Oh, you
Anthony
got it?
Smith versus Vitor Petrino.
That's right.
Yes.
Vitor Petrino. What's
Light
his
heavyweight.
record? Is it 11-0?
He's 11-0. This guy's a terror.
Do you want to know, or do you?
I think he's 11-0, but let me tell you one
11-0.
thing, Jake. He hasn't fought any top competition.
I know he's been fighting cans, but he's 11-0.
If you haven't fought a guy in the top 10 and then you're going in to fight Anthony Smith,
Anthony
who is
Smith
decent,
is, I think, out of the top 10.
I couldn't tell you the top 10 of light heavyweight. Nikita Krylov is in there, and the guy hasn't fought in 2 years. The light heavyweight division's been log jammed by John Jones for 5 years.
No.
Fuck yeah, it has
Dude,
been.
Johnny Walker is in light heavyweight. He's up and coming.
He's light heavyweight, yeah.
Walker's up
Okay,
and
he's
coming.
probably number 10. Let's start off with the Johnny Walker.
Johnny
number 10.
Walker has ascended to
We
like.
got Johnny Walker. We got Anthony Smith.
He's
we
in
got
there.
He is in the top.
Rakic.
Yeah,
Rakic.
Rakic is like
Pereira.
5.
We got-
Pereira's champ.
Volkan Ozdemir.
8, 9.
Khalil Roundtree.
Maybe
Jr.
10.
Jamal Hill.
Jamal Hill. Dude, they're
Jamal
fighting.
Hill's like number 1, and he's fighting Khalil, who's like 8,
Dude, that's
which is
like,
good for Jamal. I think that just
Dude,
fight anybody.
Khalil is sick.
Yeah, dude. Jamal's going out that fight for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So Anthony Smith is supposed to lose to Vitor Petrino. Vitor's a striker. Can Anthony Smith grapple him? Can Anthony Smith take him down?
Anthony Smith's last fight was
Okay.
pretty bad fight against who was it? Was it Khalil Roundtree?
Yeah.
Yeah, Khalil Roundtree.
It was.
Yeah,
He did beat the brakes off.
I
of
love
him.
Khalil.
He,
that was tough to see.
What did he do again, Jordan? What did he do? He, I think he pounded him out.
No, he didn't KO'd him. He KO'd him.
Khalil?
Yeah, you
On
think he
Anthony
pounded him out?
Smith?
Yeah.
He pounded him out.
Yeah, I wasn't watching that. I don't know. That was
Anthony
probably on
Smith.
Some fight night that was like headlined by freaking.
No, it was headlined by them.
Anthony
it?
Smith.
Yeah, I
beat,
think so.
Anthony Smith beat Ryan Spann 2 times.
Ryan Spann, who just got like knocked out by freaking Bulgar Ismabov or
That's
something.
right.
On
like
the
that.
last fight night. Yeah.
Bogdan just knocked out Ryan Spann tonight, and Bogdan was a huge dog. Bogdog was a huge dog, and he KO'd Ryan Spann, made him look like a B tier guy, right? C tier guy.
And Ryder, didn't you have a bit of a
Yeah,
bit
I
of a
lost
bet?
some cold money. I lost about $150
That stings.
worth of winnings on Ryan Spann. Superman got knocked out by some psychotic DC villain.
I hated when Spann knocked out Dominic Reyes. That was tough to see.
Now, Anthony Smith
Hated
might
that.
grind it out, but Anthony Smith's last wins were over Ryan Spann. Before that, his last win was 2021 against Jimmy Crute.
Jimmy Cruz.
So, is Vitor Petrino better than Jimmy Crute 3 years ago?
I love
Probably.
Crute. Crute's an
And
All-American.
Brazil. in
Brazil, Anthony Smith. He's
Brazilian in
39
Brazil.
years old. He's American. He probably sits at home and drinks. And, he's not going to come out and starch some Brazilian guy in Brazil, in Rio, on the biggest night of their life. So,
Yeah, a lot
I
of
got
pressure.
Vitor Petrino.
Pressure goes.
I think
to,
he keeps his O.
Yep.
I think he establishes himself as a light heavyweight mainstay.
Totally.
Vitor Petrino, 2024, beats Anthony Smith.
I would love to see Anthony Smith put up a good fight.
Me
Maybe
too.
take out the W.
Me too.
I like Anthony Smith.
Yeah, he's cool enough for
He's
me.
not
He's
bad.
he's like an uncle. He's like a big cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a big cousin.
He looks like a pit bull terrier.
I didn't like when he
exactly.
was like, "You're attacking my family" against Johnny Walker.
That was because he got his house broken into by a guy, and he had to fight him for like 20 minutes.
Hardest fight of his
And
life, he said.
Yeah, he said it was the hardest fight of his life. He's like,
Harder
I
than
fought
John
John
Jones.
Jones, and this fight was harder. He's
This
like,
crackhead mugger was harder.
yeah, he's
harder
like,
fight.
I had to dig deeper than I've ever been before fighting this guy. I fought him for like 20 minutes until the cops showed up. Just straight, some guy in his house.
Grappling, punching, wrestling.
Wow.
I'm
The
like,
guy was trying to and he's like, if this guy beats me up, he's probably gonna kill my family, so I gotta keep fighting him.
yeah, he beat him by decision that night.
He went to the judges' scorecards and they ruled
Yeah,
they ruled
it.
assault 4 to 6 years.
Anthony Smith.
Lionheart Smith. Now
That is crazy.
That's
I love
insane.
Anthony Smith too. I hope he wins, but Vitor is a
Love
threat.
Anthony. Come on, guys. Anthony Smith? Are you fucking kidding me?
I got
You
nothing
love
bad to say
Anthony
about him.
Smith.
No,
I like him.
Dude,
Let me
he
say
sucks.
this.
He beat Jimmy Crute like
Let me. Yeah,
4 years ago.
I'm not saying
Crute's
his
sick,
record
too.
speaks for itself, but I'm saying he could have got the DQ
my.
win versus John Jones, but he stood up and just fought 2.5 more rounds
Yeah.
and lost.
What happened in that?
John Jones illegally kneed him on the ground.
Yeah, that was
and
honorable.
He could have just taken the DQ,
You remember that?
and he got up and he continued to
Not really.
fight.
John Jones.
He
elite-
continued to fight, and I like that more than I like the Aljamain Sterling route.
Yeah, he could have took the belt from him.
What was Anthony Smith doing fighting John Jones?
That's what I'm saying. John
what year
Jones.
was this? That's
2020,
That's what I'm saying.
2019.
2018 maybe.
2018.
John Jones log jammed the whole division, Jordan. He made it so there was no more good fighters.
Yeah.
And then whenever anybody looked good against him, they're like, "Oh, John's human." Blah blah blah. Anthony Smith was good at one point, very good at one point.
He before he beat John Jones, he beat Alex Gustafsson to get that title.
Did he
shot.
really?
Yeah.
There's something right there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but Gustafsson was kind of on
He's
the
a little washed.
a little end of his career
he
by
had,
that time.
he had
but-
one decent fight where he lost versus John Jones.
Dude, he almost beat Daniel Cormier too. Hit him with a flying knee. He was like that close to beating Cormier.
Yeah.
So he's good at it in his time for
I don't
sure.
know. I don't rate Anthony Smith highly at all. And
That's what I'm saying. The light heavyweights,
I hope he wins though.
pretty stiff division right now.
I hope he wins.
Top guys are like Racic, Iri.
Prohatska, there's some exciting stuff in there, but it's not crazy.
That last fight on 300.
Oh, this is all right. Who's this guy? Barajo. He's up and coming light
No,
heavyweight.
Vitor Petrino.
No, and the other guy though. That's
They're
no,
actually
that's-
at middleweight.
Oh shoot, my bad.
Yeah, that's all right. Moving on, we have Jose Aldo coming back.
Jose Aldo out of retirement.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's been pretty inactive in the last 3 years. He's got about 3 fights.
His last fight was Marab.
That's right. Marab retired him, but he didn't really beat him down. He kind of just wrestled him.
I didn't like Marab in that fight.
In between that, Jose Aldo beat Marlon Vera, Rob Font, lost to Peter Yan, and before that he beat
Pedro?
Pedro.
Yeah.
Pedro Muniz.
Dude, I was just watching highlights from that fight.
He's a good fighter too.
Dude.
So he's 3-5 in his last 5.
Aldo looked so good. in those
Veteran
fights.
fighter.
He looks
Jose
so
Aldo.
sharp, so fast.
People love him. He's in Brazil. Big crowd pop for Jose Aldo. He's fighting a guy who's on a 6-fight win streak in Jonathan Martinez. He's a Mexican-American fighter.
Jonathan Martinez's last fight was Royval, right? He lost to Royval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
John Martinez. And that was a decent fight. It was close enough.
Royval just lost to Pantoja.
John Martinez is 7 years younger than Jose. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He should be able to just have better muscle fiber, twitch, speed,
Just
kick his leg a bit more, jab him a bit more,
Yeah.
prevent any wrestling a bit more. I think that he'll win by decision, John Martinez. There'll be a soft, and then they'll have DC go over, or Michael Bisping go over to Jose Aldo, who just lost. Another big crowd pop. You know,
Yeah.
he's just for the he's there for the camera.
I want Joe.
Is he going to
Jose
win? Jose? He's going to beat this guy. He's going to shut down his 6-fight win
Is
streak.
he going to win?
Who's Jose like beaten?
Almost. He beat a bunch of people. Pedro. Name him.
Yeah,
Pedro.
Marlon Vera.
He beat.
in the
okay.
last 3 years.
He-
Marlon Vera, Rob Font, Pedro Muniz. That's who he's.
And he pretty much beat Marlon Moraes when they fought his first fight
Okay.
in. I think he won that.
He
fight.
lost to Marab.
So he's
he
pretty
lost
solid.
to Peter
He
He
Yan.
lost him. Yeah.
He's only fighting good guys.
His last fight was not even like a knockout or anything. He just got wrestled
But,
up
like-
against the cage by Marab.
Everyone says he's like a legend, but like who did he beat like back in the day, like in his championship
Everybody.
days? Everybody.
Chad Mendez. He beat. Chad was
Chaz
good.
Mendez.
He smoked a few good guys, but I agree with you. I think
Dude,
that
he
like
beat Uriah Faber. He beat Chad Mendez. He beat.
Uriah.
You could say the same-
Mendes are a combined like 5'8".
you could say the same thing about
So-
GSP though. It's like he beat the guys of that era.
No.
It's like I don't remember all the guys.
Jose
he
Aldo
beat.
was a
I
monster.
agree with
dude.
GSP. Yeah.
Yeah, Jose Aldo was a monster, dude. He was like one of the best featherweights of all time.
Yeah.
He had just as many title. He won unbeaten for 10 years. Jose went
Yeah, it was
unbeaten for
9
like
year- 9 years straight.
9 years straight.
That was all WEC. That was all Strikeforce. That was all
Dude,
like
a bit of that was in the UFC.
Ray Borg. He fought Cub Swanson.
A bit of that was
He
in the UFC.
TKO'd baby Cyborg. Cyborg's cuck-white husband.
Baby cyborg.
Baby mini Cyborg.
Ray Borg.
He's like,
You're thinking of Ray Borg?
no, he TKO'd Ray Borg, and he also TKO'd
No, that was
Cyborg
that was-
before the UFC.
Ray
in
Borg never fought in featherweight.
WEC.
In featherweight, Ray Borg
Not
fought
Ray Borg.
Cyborg.
Cyborg. Male Cyborg.
Wow.
Lost
Dude,
to Jose Aldo.
I wouldn't. Jose Aldo was a
Fairness.
legend. He is a legend. He is.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
okay.
there's a legend that says that he's good. I don't know if everybody
Oh.
believes it, though.
I
You know?
think he was yeah.
You failed to recite 3 fights where he...
I can't
Shot-
remember
he
them
shot-
all, but
It's super fair, but
obviously
a legend like GSP, I can remember like 5 GSP fights.
yeah,
John
'cause you used
Jones
to
legend.
watch all the GSP fights.
Demetrius Johnson, I could even do 5 fights from him. But like Francis,
Okay, well, let me think for a bit.
I know
Maybe I'll-
it is tricky.
Do you want me to look something up?
Yeah, look up
Jose
Jose Aldo.
Aldo.
Yeah, Jose Aldo's opponents. Go back to like when
Everybody
you-
everybody
ChatGPT.
undermines Jose once he lost to Connor.
Dude, I think he entered. Yeah, you can't.
You can't be like
Dude,
that. He
he's
lost
actually-
to Max. He
if-
lost to
if you think
Connor. He lost to Marais. He lost to Marab. He lost to Henry. He lost to Pewter.
Yeah, but
No, he never fought Henry. He never fought
Jose
Henry.
is questionably better than Connor resume wise. He held.
Oh,
the
he
belt.
is,
held
probably.
way better.
Because
Well, he's
Connor's
got-
resume
Connor's
stinks
a
as well.
legend.
He's got 9 defenses versus 0 defenses. So that yes, he is got a better
And
paper
drops
resume.
down a weight class and goes on a tear.
Decent at
Fights,
135. Yeah,
fights
yeah.
for the title there.
Yeah, fair.
That's sick, man.
Jose Aldo. Yeah. No, he's good.
Jose Aldo's a legend, dude. Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
Jose.
Yeah, if you were to say who are the most legendary fighters in the UFC,
Jose-
go ahead.
If you say top 20, he's on that list for sure.
Totally.
Yeah. Top 10.
I would say
I'd
top
say even top
10.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'd put like
Jose.
in the top 20. I'd put like Forrest Griffin in the top 20.
Yeah, and he was
Legendary?
Forrest.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
wow. There's a
Freaking-
lot
He
of
shaped the
names.
UFC on that night.
got the
Rampage
list here.
Jackson.
Go ahead, Aaron.
What
Go
do we got?
ahead.
What do you got?
Connor, you want to know his opponents?
Yeah, in the last like whatever 15
No,
fights.
since he entered the UFC.
I think there's about 10 here.
Okay, go
Conor
ahead.
McGregor, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendez, Ricardo Lamas,
Lamas.
Yeah, Lamas.
Kenny Florian, Uriah Faber,
Faber.
So he's 5-2.
Cub Swanson,
Cub
6-2.
Swanson.
Chan Sung Jung,
Ooh,
the Korean zombie.
Korean zombie.
6-2.
He's my favorite.
This guy's a legend.
Renato Moicano.
Moicano.
Aldo and Moicano fought.
Moicano, yeah.
Oh,
So he's
Moicano.
7-2 in the UFC. You know,
But his Moicano fight, that was when his title first. So he beat all those guys up to McGregor, lost to McGregor, drops down a weight class.
no, he lost to Max as well.
Oh, he did, yeah. But that was after McGregor.
Yeah, Jose's definitely got a mark on the UFC, but I like Jordan's take. I think people give a lot of credit to whoever. It's like Jose Aldo. It's like we're 3 UFC fans, and I kind of struggle to tell you his big wins.
If any legend sticks around too long, then they turn
deteriorate into a
The
exactly.
legends are ones who stopped when
Yes.
when they were ahead.
Yeah.
Like GSP stopped at a
Kababble.
pretty good time.
Yeah,
GSP.
double,
But Khabib
double
had
champ.
Khabib had a bad record too. He beat like
But
Gaethje.
he should have fought a
Poirier.
few more times. You think?
McGregor.
Yeah, John Jones has the best record.
Yeah.
Like if you look back, he beat
On
all the
paper?
early light heavyweight legends.
Yeah.
He beat Shogun.
But that was
He beat
that was a marquee
freaking
division.
Lyoto Machida. He beat Rampage Jackson. He beat freaking
Rashad
Rashad
Evans.
Evans. DC.
He's beaten 3 generations of fighters.
Alex Gustafson.
Yeah, but it's too bad that he's a freaking wife beater,
Yeah.
crackhead, freaking
Degenerate.
whatever.
Yeah.
Degenerate, and
He's a little bit of a
Hey.
amongst other things.
what is it? What is it called?
We're hoping John Jones gets better,
it's-
gets on the right path, right?
I think he's a little bit. I think John
go.
Jones is a little bit.
Whatever, man. John.
To hell with him. Let him burn in 1,000 eternities for all I care. The guy's
Come on.
John Jones is buggered. Is the right word for John Jones. He's buggered. And if you look up the origin of the word buggered, then you would know what John Jones is. He's buggered.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's
He's also the greatest fighter ever.
yeah.
Somehow.
So you can't-
Buggered
Somehow.
means bucked in the ass, right?
No.
Yeah.
It might.
It does.
It might.
Well,
in British.
Well, thanks
It's
for
like a
confirming
British
that.
crime.
Yeah, 100% it is. And now you don't have to look it up because you know what buggered means.
Well, John Jones is heavyweight champion.
Come at me, John. What are you going to do about it?
I'm rooting for you, John.
Whatever he beats.
Hopefully you get
Ceo,
better,
Cuck
buddy.
energy over here. Big cuck energy.
But he's a.
John's a legend.
Why would you not want him to get better?
Why wouldn't I want him to get better?
I want him to not fight Stipe. I want him to fight Tom Aspinall in 2 months.
Yeah, but it's not just about John who he wants to fight. Like Stipe, get a big payday from that.
Stipe's not
like
even a name,
44
bro.
years old now.
Tom Aspinall's a bigger
Yeah,
name
but
than
who
Stipe.
wouldn't want a big payday at the end of their career?
No, Stipe should do it.
He should get
But
a big payday.
I'm just not interested to
Me
see
neither.
Stipe fight John
I
Jones.
agree.
I'd like to see
But who
John
knows?
fight
Legends?
Aspinall.
Dude, Stipe's a good wrestler. Stipe's got hands. I think he's going to put a better fight up than Cyril Gahn.
Probably. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He's a
I
bit.
mean, you couldn't
You
put
think-
up much less of a fight than Cyril Gahn did. So
You think he's going
Friggin'
to like
French cuck.
He's going to let John Jones just like come up and guillotine him up on the like
No,
Stipe's
but
a great wrestler,
I rate
man.
Stipe. Say he's the heavyweight cowboy.
He's the heavyweight.
Cowboy
Goat.
Cerrone.
He went on
Again.
the longest.
Again, Jacob, give me 3 Stipe wins. That isn't
Fabricio
No, give
Verdum.
me one without Verdum.
Fabricio Verdum,
No
man,
Verdum. That was the worst win ever.
Yeah, he
Go back and
stinks.
look at that. It looks like a video game on easy mode.
His best win was DC that time when he was getting beat up by DC and then he like
Legendary.
body shot him like for
Stipe
Knocks
is
out
good.
Verdum in Brazil. Big moment. He goes, I'm world champ. I'm world champ.
Yeah.
I'm world champ.
Alistair
Stipe.
beats up
He's badass.
Alistair
but-
Overeem.
Okay, Overeem, he TKOs him. Yeah, he beats him down to a
Overeem.
pulp.
Dude, Overeem
That's-
dropped him in the first couple rounds.
That's one win.
Yeah,
That's less credit to Stipe when you say it like that.
Well, no, he came back and won the fight.
Against shitty Overeem, who's lost like to 10 people in the UFC in
Dude,
the last 10
Overeem's
years.
a legend too.
Totally, give me 3 Overeem wins. It's
Brock
a
Lesnar.
wormhole, bro. It's a wormhole where it's like a legend. That's like you,
You guys-
with hip hop saying that
you-
people
you
aren't
guys
legends.
wanna-
No, it's like you
You're
with
gonna-
hip hop, bro.
You're gonna diminish fighters now.
You're gonna diminish
'Cause you
hip
don't
hop,
remember
bro,
their
because
fights?
you don't know their songs.
Dude,
it's the same logic. Yes, I am.
They were the best at that time.
I'm gonna say exactly what I just said without you acknowledging.
They were
it.
the
I'm
best
gonna
at
say with hip hop, you disregard artists because you don't
Chocolate.
understand it in the time, and
So
you say they're not a
you're-
legend.
So you're doing the same
Yes.
with fighters.
Yes.
Okay, well then we were in the time.
Both guilty.
I
Both
respect.
wrong.
No,
Oh, I respect.
Okay,
the
well,
fight.
They're
I'm
legends.
willing to compromise, but
they're
he's
legends.
not.
It's a fight podcast, so
They're legends.
Totally. We're able
we
to
don't
fight
need
on
to-
it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start talking about hip hop.
yeah we
Okay.
don't need to talk about hip hop.
So, yeah. What were we just talking about?
Stipe,
We're talking
John
about
Jones.
Stipe.
legends.
Yeah, John Jones,
We were
yeah.
talking about legends.
We're talking about
Stipe
Stipe.
did go on
Yeah.
the longest streak of any heavyweight, and I don't think that's a easy feat.
Totally. I
Just-
think you're right.
I think I think he's gonna do. I would
He
bet
only
on
named-
Stipe
he
in
only
that
named
fight.
2 fights though that he won, and I think a legend. It's like
Yeah, but you can know the stats like, this sport, this team went
That's
10-0. You don't remember all the teams they played, but he did a 5-fight win streak as champ, as heavyweight champ.
Stipe pulls nobody. Cowboy Cerrone is more of a
More of a
legend
draw.
than freaking Stipe is.
He is,
Yeah.
sure. But there's
Diego
less
Sanchez.
There's less there's not heavyweight isn't as big as it used to be.
yeah, Stipe's been there for 10 years.
Because Stipe's been there and he sucks, and no one likes to watch his fights. And
But he's
been
still
the
good.
champion.
He's still good. He's a legend.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good fight between him and John Jones. I don't think John Jones is going to go starch Stipe.
I think he is.
You think he is?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. All
Stipe
right.
hasn't fought in like 3 years now.
Yeah, but time
What was
off
his
is good
last fight?
sometimes.
Was it Ngannou? His
Yeah.
last fight?
Yeah, he stepped up to Ngannou.
Yeah, and got KO'd
He
bad.
got KO'd real bad.
He rocked Ngannou in that fight.
He did.
Kinda.
sort of
Right
for sure.
before he got knocked out, he
Yeah,
rocked him.
Right before he got completely
Well, because
rocked.
so he rocked him and went to go rush
Yeah,
in, and then Ngannou countered him.
Totally.
So
For me,
Sorry.
the legend chat is good. No, that was good because
That was good.
nobody's saying he's.
So we determined John Jones as the ultimate legend as far as records go. He
I
has
could
the best
recite
record.
10 John Jones fights
Yeah,
right
of
now.
course, but he fought in the marquee divisions of the UFC. Like,
Yeah,
of course.
I
Like,
could,
you can
I could
remember
give you,
GSP.
I could give
remember-
you some DJ fights right now.
Yeah,
I
but-
could, and people discredit him because he's so small. Well, DJ would fucking whip your ass, right? It's like, where's the line?
I agree with DJ's amazing too.
DJ's totally clean. He's never had a single hiccup
Well,
on
this-
any record.
this is the-
any fight has never been questioned.
This is the argument with John Jones. Like if you either
If you were
take
an
into
Olympian-
account all the steroids or you don't take into account steroids,
If you were an Olympian,
there's an argument.
then it would matter.
Just on a fight by fight basis, that's how you need to account for legends, and he's beat all the legends, and I don't like John Jones at all, but it's just he has
Totally.
the best record, and that's that.
That's so fair.
Like when you're thinking of who has the best record, it has to be him. Like Khabib, no.
And we all wish John Jones well.
Not even GSP.
GSP fought like Josh Koscheck. He fought
Carlos
freaking
Condit, Jimi Hendrix, Johnny Hendrix.
He
Sorry,
lost versus Matt. He lost versus Matt Serra, who like they took
Legendary
off like where did they find
the
Matt
Ultimate
Serra?
Fighter. He won the Ultimate
Dude, he
Fighter
beat-
Veteran Series.
He beat Matt Hughes, who's a legend.
Yeah, again. Matt Hughes beat Carlos Newton. Matt Hughes beat
Lots of guys. Frank Trigg.
He fought
He
GSP.
did beat Frank Trigg. He did
Twice.
beat Carlos Newton. He did beat
Carlos-
GSP once.
Dude, he beat GSP.
He's decent, but
He's a legend.
He's a
legends.
pioneer.
He was the
He's a pioneer.
He's the he's a pioneer. He's the welterweight.
John Jones is a legend.
He-
John Jones is like you would speak his name with respect, except the whole cuck talk, buggered talk. But
and we all wish John Jones well.
totally, but
Whatever. Not really.
not really.
I could care less.
I
but-
disagree.
But in reality,
whatever. Yeah,
the
yeah.
legends, it's like Connor is a legend for building the sport like he
Yeah.
did. The guy has all the #1 pay-per-view buys. That's legendary stuff.
And we all wish Connor well.
Totally. Conor McGregor, big ups. You built the sport from a little pile of rubble and a bunch of idiots to $1 billion industry. Now they're worth $13 billion thanks to Conor McGregor.
Actually, there's one
I agree.
legend in the UFC,
Who?
Dana White.
Dana White.
He is a legend.
Shout out, and we all wish Dana White well.
Imagine,
whatever. Dana White
imagine
was
if
like
Elon Musk came out with a video slapping his wife.
Totally.
Hey,
Tesla would go from here to here.
we all make mistakes.
But Dana's so much of a legend. He slapped his wife, and it actually made his business better.
I don't know if
somehow.
it made it better.
That's because the demographic of UFC is like they
It
don't
almost-
care about that stuff.
Totally.
They almost liked it.
They almost.
I
That's what
don't
I'm
think
saying.
they liked
They're like,
it. I
oh,
don't know if
fuck
anyone
yeah.
liked it.
Oh, some of them did,
Dude.
man. Some like guy living in Tennessee.
About 1 million people loved it.
No.
1 million people
Oh,
were like,
he was like,
if a
"Hell
woman
yeah,
ever
man."
hits a man, you got to hit a woman. There was about 5 million people saying that, and Dana White goes, don't think like that. That's not chill. Don't be like that.
I mean,
so that's where he stands.
PR wise, it couldn't have gone better for him.
That's what I'm
We'll say that.
saying.
We'll say that.
That's
Did
what I'm
anyone
saying.
make slap league jokes?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. It was.
That was the same week that previewed, that came out to the public.
Oh, so maybe it was just
a marketing
Yeah.
ploy.
Almost like a shock factor marketing ploy to draw in, like it definitely drew in
that's a
eyes.
risk.
he's done. He's
It
done.
definitely drew people in.
It's a bit of a risk to go for a
They
marketing.
think he did it with that Joe Rogan thing, where the lady calls him Joe Rogan.
That's right.
That's supposedly set up.
Do you just call me Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
It's almost too good though. It's like there could be a conspiracy behind that where it's like, how could she have confused that? She's got about 80
Yeah.
interviews with 0 hiccups. She's like a bulletproof interviewer for sports,
True.
athletes, and all kinds. She interviews like NASCAR people, horse racers, fucking anybody.
If she showed up to that shoot, she would have been told at least 25 times that she was interviewing Dana White.
When would they have mentioned Joe Rogan? They wouldn't have even all been on
mean,
the. She's reading
I
from a
think-
script.
I think, well, not unfortunately. Like when you think UFC, you think of a couple names. You think maybe Conor
Could've just been a
McGregor,
brain
Joe
fart.
Rogan. Yeah, like people literally the
Maybe
most.
she was
casual-
hungover or something.
Name one UFC person that you would know from UFC, and like it's just the average person who knows nothing. They'd say Conor McGregor, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I don't know.
They wouldn't even say Dana White. Anyways. So we had Jose Aldo. We argued about his legend status.
It's there.
It's there, obviously.
Nope.
It's up for
Nope.
debate. It's up for debate.
I love you.
I would say it's up for debate. Top 10, Jose Aldo, maybe.
Featherweight. He
All
fought
time,
in WBC.
all time.
Dude, there's no legends in like
He's a
anything
legend.
beneath like
Dude, Dom Cruz, legend. All right.
Dominic Cruz like got knocked out by little baby boy Henry Cejudo.
Totally.
That was a good knee.
Little micro dwarf.
I think we'd
Henry
all.
Cejudo,
I think
miniature.
I think
Henry.
we'd all be knocked out by that knee.
You're right.
I'd get knocked out by like a jab from like freaking Megan Olivy. So yeah,
All right. all right.
event.
All right.
What do
Main
you
event:
got?
Pantoja versus Ursig.
That's right.
Well, we'll say Pantoja just fought Brandon Royval, beat him pretty close fight. He had a couple fights with Brandon Moreno, or one fight with Brandon Moreno before that. Pantoja's a good. I think Pantoja's got a few problems with cardio, a little bit.
I don't think that. I think his last 6 fights were 5-round fights.
I know, but there's times when he gasses in the fights.
Royval just about
He
had him
won
in
round. He won. Yeah, his last 5 fights were 5-round fights. In the round 4 and 5 of those 5 fights, he might have gassed a little bit. Yeah, that's fair. But he does start strong. He has really good defense.
He does, yeah.
He does have decent grappling defense.
I think he gets hit a bit.
Does he?
I think so.
Panty.
Remember Panty
Yeah,
gets hit a
he
bit?
was getting beat up by Brandon Royval, who's got you know, probably the worst power in MMA, and he was getting beat up in the 5th round. He's got good cardio, Royval, but
Royval's sick. Royval's sick.
He's got no power.
So Steve only has 3 fights. Steve only has 3 fights in the
fresh, though,
UFC.
man.
This has
He's
got to be.
He's
this
from
is
Australia.
This is the Rocky story, man. Like
from
a
Aussie.
guy, 3 fights in the UFC, getting a title shot. He could be world champion.
He has
this
really
Saturday.
good movement. He has really good movement.
I like
and footwork.
Usyk here.
I want Ursig to win.
Me
Yeah.
too. We shifted up a little bit.
Let's go Ursig.
And then you could get
Pantoja
Moreno
sucks.
back in there. You could get some other contenders moving in.
Yeah.
They got flyweight division is totally wrapped. Like Perez with that big win, that's huge for Perez.
Yeah.
But he just lost some key fights to, some level 5 guys.
Flyweight, man.
Rank 5 guys.
Top 10 flyweight right now.
Top 10 flyweight.
Well, champion is
Easy.
Pantoja.
Pantoja, Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo,
No,
Cody
gone.
Garbrandt.
Cody's at 135. and
He
so
fought
is
at
Figgy.
125. Kai Car France.
Kai is like 4.
I love Kai Car France.
Kai's great.
Shout out Kai Car
Yeah,
France.
we love Kai.
And we all wish him well.
What about Steve Urseg is number 10. So who's in between Urseg and Kai? We got Makayev.
Steve Urseg is number 10?
Yep.
I want Steve Ursig to win.
number 10.
Let's go
Makayev
Ursig.
with his soft win over Perez didn't get him a shot. He's ranked 5. So Perez is like 7. Makayev is 5. 4 is Kai.
Yeah.
3 is Moreno. Moreno's either 2 or 1 or 3. Like, who else is the top contender for flyweight?
That's what I'm saying.
It's pretty dead division, to be honest. That's why they're giving number 10 a big shot here.
Let's go Ursig. Pull it out.
I haven't seen anything from Pantoja to make me think that he's any good. He couldn't finish. Royval got kind of beat up there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of Urseg's fights. I think maybe I watched his last one. It was like a knockout or something, right? Matt Schnell, and
Pantoja also breaks off Matt Schnell KO.
and Pantoja beat Matt Schnell as well. So yeah.
I mean, Pantoja's probably favored.
Yep, and it's in Brazil, like we were saying.
I like that last knockout Ursig had, but I want Ursig to win. I'm betting on Ursig. Be a nice underdog, little bet.
I agree. Yep, let's do it.
Guys got the stats on these guys?
The main event. Give me the main event stats.
Yeah, who won
Pantoja
Yep.
wins, losses, draws 27-5-0.
Wow.
That's a lot of
What
fights.
a record.
Average fight time 12:10. Height 5'5". Weight 125. Oh yeah, we're light here.
Yeah.
Reach
We're light.
67
67. That's pretty
inches.
small reach.
Yeah.
Orthodox stance, and he's looks to be
Orthodox.
34 years old.
So he's
34.
getting
getting up there.
he's getting up there a little bit. Yep.
Steven Urseg. Ryder, did you catch those?
Yeah.
Okay, Steven Urseg, is that right?
That's right.
Wins, losses, draws 12-1-0. Average fight time 11:49.
I like that.
Height 5'8".
I like
so
that.
he's 3 inches taller.
Taller.
Weight 125 pounds, exact same weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because they have to be.
weigh in. Yeah.
They got to be within a pound.
Yeah, there you go.
Reach 68.
So he doesn't have that much of a reach advantage.
Similar
1
reach,
inch.
but he's a
1
little
inch.
taller.
1 inch reach difference, 3 inch height.
It's actually harder
Orthodox
to punch
stance,
down.
and
It is, but
he appears to be 29 years old.
Yeah,
I
so he's
born
got
in
he's 6 years
95.
5-6 years the younger.
Fresher.
I think Pantoja gets hit. I think Ursig can sit down and shot.
Might not even. He might be 28.
Usyk definitely has more stand-in power, and he can sit
wanna
down
see that. I wanna see
and let the number 10 guy just come in and take the belt for all I care.
I got-
Mix up the division.
You know
Stir
what?
it up.
Yeah.
I don't have a bet either fighter. I'm just gonna bet the over on the rounds for this one.
Over 2.5, 3.5.
Whatever, because I don't
I'm gonna
see
go-
either of these guys finishing each other. So
Right.
That's
Right.
Could, probably a decision.
You think a kickboxing match? I think a wrestling
I
match
think it'll be a
favors
bit of a
Pantoja.
flyweight's always a bit of both. It's always a bit of like a grind where it's like they're scrambling
Very
and they're
scrambly.
fighting.
Yeah,
and
you're
then
right. You're right.
It's always like that, and so I think like that's why it's not going to get finished unless Pantoja. What are his submissions like?
They're strong. He has good submission game.
Who has he
And
submitted?
He
Dude,
he has
everyone,
strong
he's a
ground
legend.
game. Yeah. let's just end that on the main event there. Yeah, he's got good grappling for sure.
1.0 submission average per 15 minutes. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so he's pretty much getting one submission for every 15 minutes of fight time that he has.
That's almost one submission.
That's very
every
high.
fight.
That's very high. So he's extremely high submission potential.
Well,
Steve Usyk has a good ground game, though. He is fighting out of a small camp out of Australia. So it's like, what is
Australian.
the pool like? A guy like Volk came in and fought. He's only fought like 5 people in the UFC.
Volk.
Yep. He's fought Islam twice. He's fought Chaz Mendez.
Yep.
He's fought Max Holloway 3 times.
Jose Aldo.
Jose, really? That
Korean.
wasn't on his record.
Jose Aldo's on his record.
Well, that wasn't a loss that Aaron mentioned.
No, Volkanovski beat Jose.
That was
Aldo.
later. He started at like Max Holloway.
Either way,
Jose lost. to
he doesn't
Volkanovski.
have. He didn't fight 10 different people in the UFC. He fought like 6. It's like for a guy who's been
Brian
in the
Ortega, Yair Rodriguez.
Zombie.
Zombie. So he's got 7 or
Zombie.
8 different people he's fought in the UFC. That's fair.
It's a good streak. He's a legend.
But a guy like Urseg, he's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's fighting with like his dad is his trainer or some shit. Like he's like at a local fighting gym,
A lot of pressure.
small gym,
A lot of pressure on Usyk.
coming
for
to
sure.
Brazil to fight Alex Pantoja, who has 5 or 6 main event fights in a row now.
Got some experience.
He's got a lot of 5-round fights.
Mhm.
I think that Pantoja could probably hold on to the belt.
All right.
I think he could probably hold on to it. Anybody who's watched this far, thank you so much for watching. Obviously,
Yep.
anybody who wants to like and subscribe, that would be incredible. Today we hung out for a little while. We watched Fight Night 91, which was Mateusz Nicolau versus Alex Perez, and co-main event Brian Spann versus Bogdan.
We're about to watch a bit of the
It's got my
BKFC.
heads- That's right. We're gonna watch some BKFC tonight. It should be a great Saturday.
And I think, boys, we have one shutout.
Shout out.
Brooklyn Wren.
Brooklyn Wren, absolutely, from
Sure.
the UFC team. Brooklyn Wren, thanks for what you do, obviously, and anybody associated with that squad.
Hey, we love MMA, and
We're the boys.
we're hoping to get this on Spotify soon, so you'll listen to the audio. We're going to be watching 301. We hope you have a good time watching it. And
Cheers.
thank you.
All right.